What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Gridiron, your Apollo HOU Houston Texans podcast. My name is Noah Outlaw. I'm one of your hosts, as always. And as always, I'm here with Garrett Harrelson. What's up, brother?
What's going on, my man? Hey, another dub. I know it's preseason, but didn't that feel good? Didn't that shit feel good?
Yeah,
I pointed at my vein. I don't know why I did that.
Don't do that. Don't do that on the air, at least.
I don't know. I did ice veins, you know?
Right. Ice.
Kidlings do.
I know what you do. I know what you do in private, though. We don't need to share that with everyone.
The Houston Texans beat the New York Giants in the preseason 28-10, I believe. I don't know.
Yep.
Numbers are hard.
28-10.
Hey, great showing. Great showing. Just to sum it up real quick, great showing from the ones. We got extensive action from the ones.
Yeah.
We'll kind of get into it, but it was just a great little showing at home.
It was. Yeah, both sides of the ball just absolutely showed out. Obviously, it was great to see the ones there at the beginning, seeing the offense. For the most we've seen so far, the CJ Stroud, the Tank Dell, the Diggs, the Schultz, the Nico, the whole crew was out there, and they're jiving. They look good together. CJ was really spreading the ball around a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of questions this offseason about who's going to be the main target, who's going to get the most, time with the ball, who's going to get the most receptions. In fantasy, it's like, who do we focus on the Texans? But on that opening drive, which ended up being like 9 or 10 plays, I think, basically drove down the whole field and couldn't get the touchdown. But CJ hit Stephon, hit Schultz, hit Brevin Jordan, hit Nico Collins, and I believe he might have targeted Pierce or something like that. But like really everyone's getting a little bit of the action. He targeted Tank as well down near the goal line. So everyone's getting a piece of the ball. Everyone's getting a piece of the action. And so that's good to see.
Yeah, no, one of my biggest takeaways from the game, the eye test, was offense is clicking. The offense is going to cook this year. This might be the best offense in the NFL, right there with maybe like the Niners and the Lions. It's going to be a top 3 offense.
Yeah.
There's just so many weapons on this offense. And, the offensive line wasn't even fully healthy this week. Laramie Tunsil obviously wasn't playing. It's not fully set in stone what that O-line is going to be. And also Joe Mixon wasn't playing. That's going to be a huge addition to when we actually start the regular season. But offense is cooking, man. I mean, CJ looks very surgical, precise, decisive.
He looks the same. He
looks the same, but now he just has Stephon Diggs and better Tank Dell and better Nico Collins and better Dalton Schultz. Everyone's just getting better with it kind of works as a cell. And I know every aspect of every football team works as a cell with a nucleus and mitochondria, and like there's different parts that move and make it work. But this cell of an offense is growing together with around CJ Stroud as the nucleus. It's just becoming it's strengthening. And by the end of the year, I think CJ Stroud will obviously firmly be in MVP talks, but this is going to be a top 3 offense, bottom line.
Well, it's nice to see CJ just come out and pick up where he left off. That's what I like, because there's all these talks about sophomore slumps. There's all these talks about CJ's had a busy offseason. CJ's been in the spotlight. CJ's been talking a lot, right? Been going on all the podcasts, talking shit about the Colts, talking shit about whoever. We love it. Talking shit to Micah about the Dallas Houston rivalry, which is all great. But here's the deal with doing all that. It was kind of like, ooh, there was no world where I thought this, but people were like, well, he better come out and be himself and pick up where he left off. And it looks like that's exactly what we're getting. He said after the game, and this is just the best way to describe CJ Stroud's play: if you're open, you're getting the ball.
Yeah,
that's it. Because he's gonna and that seems simple, but a lot of quarterbacks in the league struggle with that. And the thing is, CJ Stroud sees you, he's accurate, he's gonna get the ball exactly where you need it if you're open. And that's exactly what he did this game. And it was just beautiful to see. He had some batted down passes and stuff by Dexter Lawrence. But 1, Dexter Lawrence is a dog, and 2, it's preseason. It doesn't matter. Had a jump ball to Nico in the end zone. I think Nico had like a foot out of bounds. It was tough. Couldn't get the touchdown on that opening drive. But
that was a good play by the defensive back on that one, because I saw Nico off the route. I was like, it was a 1-on-1. It was 1-on-1, and I thought maybe they can throw him a fade here. I want to see Nico catching more fades and being targeted as on fade routes. And he had him. He could have easily got that touchdown, but it was a good play by the defensive back. So
it was
like 7 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, that's going to be a touchdown. That would have been a touchdown. So no, you nailed it with how he looks the same. He just has Stephon Diggs. It's just and the sophomore slump talk. Fuck all that. There are guys who are good. And there's guys who are. He can be good. He can be bad. I don't know. And that's the guys who could be good, who could be bad. They have sophomore slumps. That was kind of like Baker Mayfield, who had a sophomore slump. There's just some of these guys who have generational talent. That's like, oh, he's good every season of any level. CJ Stroud has never been bad. He's never been a bad quarterback. So he's the same. He's getting better. Fuck all that talk about the sophomore slump. This guy's going to be MVP chatter all season long. So,
and another thing I've loved about seeing the ones and seeing this new offense, right, with Diggs, basically is kind of the only real main new piece that we've seen because we haven't seen Mixon yet. But seeing Diggs and seeing Nico and seeing Tank so far this preseason is they're doing the things that like we've all been like, dude, if they're all clicking on their own and their own talents and the things they do well, like. And they've done that the entire preseason. Let's go back to the game against the Steelers, where we had that Tank Dell touchdown where he's slippery, he's slipping and sliding through different guys, and that was just what Tank does. You can't tackle him. He's quick, he's slippery, and he gets a touchdown. And he's just making people miss. That's what he does. Then cut to this game, Stephon Diggs on these slant routes where his route running is insane. He's going to leave you in the dust. He had that. One of the first plays of the drive, just boom. Right there, slant route, Stephon Diggs threaded the needle. CJ threw an insane pass between two defenders, and that's what Stephon Diggs does well. That's what we've been waiting on. And then cut to Nico, where he's making dudes miss. He's juking. Nico last year had the most broken tackles after catch in the entire NFL. And
he's a demon with the ball in his hands, and he showed it. I mean, granted, that one big catch, that completion that he had, a little bit of a push-off. It's preseason. We ain't calling
it. It wasn't. But if they're not calling it, who cares?
Exactly. But he got the ball in his hands, and he immediately turned it upfield, was dancing around guys. He doesn't move like a guy who's 6'4", 220.
No, he doesn't.
Doesn't move like that at all. So, it's good to see that Nico is still crucial in the YAC game. Stephon, like we've talked about all offseason, all these guys have different kinds of skill sets, these receivers. And when they're all clicking together, I don't know who's going to cover all of them. I don't know what kind of defense is going to be able to stop this offense if it's clicking. It all starts out up front though with the O line. If there's good protection, if there's good pass protection consistently throughout the season, no reason to think CJ has like 5K passing yards, 40-something touchdown passes. There's no reason to think that. Like this offense is that talented and that good.
Absolutely. No. Yeah. It's just nice to see everybody clicking. And that's really what I've gotten the most from this preseason so far is everything that we've seen clips of and heard about in training camp is translating to the field in the preseason. And then theoretically will be translating to the field in the regular season when shit matters. And, it's going to be such a beautiful thing and we're getting close. Let's talk about the defense real quick because the defensive side of the ball showed out too. No Danielle Hunter, no Will Anderson. Still, though, defense was locked down against the Giants starting offense, which let's talk about this just a little before we get into the stuff the Texans did well. Daniel Jones is maybe the worst quarterback in the league.
I'm surprised the FBI hasn't raided his home yet.
Yeah.
With how much money he's stolen, how much of a criminal he is. $40 million a year.
Yeah,
he's stealing $40 million out of people's pockets currently. Just doing that, and we turn a blind eye. Is he above laws? Yeah, is he above consequences? I don't understand that. He should be arrested. Pitiful quarterback.
No, these Hollywood elites, they get away with anything.
Yeah,
or these New York City elites, they get away with everything.
Too famous to get arrested. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, he couldn't do anything against our ones. He's terrible. A few guys to highlight, and I know it was Daniel Jones, but a few guys to highlight, obviously. Hey, Noah, Jalen Petrie is so back.
Yeah, he is. He looks incredible.
He looks like an absolute dog as a nickel corner. So I'm excited to see another.
I just love it. Well, and it makes sense, and it all kind of, like you mentioned, him being at nickel now, and like a few weeks ago, he talked about how he was watching tape of corners from the 49ers when Miko was there to see exactly how they play into his defense, and he's watching tape from 2 and 3 years ago of some low key no name corners. And I'm like, God, Jalen's going to see what they're doing and just do it better because he's just incredible. Because he's better. He's just better than them. And look, I mean, it's obviously a little bit different from what we've seen from Petrie, but last year was a down year. I mean, plain and simple, and something needed to change because he is talented. He's a second-round pick. And he had his rookie season with 5 picks and he was a big dog. So I'm really happy to see him kind of getting that, figured out.
A lot of ball knowers would tell you that he probably was the best defensive rookie of his class.
Yeah.
He had the best defensive season of any rookie in his class. Yeah. So a lot of ball knowers would tell you that.
Yeah.
And
that's
you.
True.
Are
you one of the ball knowers?
But he had quite the down year last year. He was still solid. He wasn't bad. He was just not doing what he was doing.
He was a rookie year, Petrie. Yeah.
But he was making his presence known and felt against that New York Giants, kind of like a one-man wrecking crew for a little bit. I mean, he was covering well. He was blowing up the line, stopping runs. I mean, I if I'm not mistaken, he was sent on a blitz a few times and either got a sack or he was close to getting a sack. Yeah. Which, I mean, if you have this defense is going to be really good. This defense is going to be really good. There's a lot of one-man wrecking crews, just like Danielle Hunter's a one-man wrecking crew. Will Anderson's one-man wrecking crew. Derek Stingley, we'll get to him. He's all pro.
Dude,
he's going to be
Derek Stingley. Let's talk about that right now.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about Derek.
He should have had 2 picks. He literally, on the first one, which ended up just being a defended pass, bro, he read Daniel Jones too fast. Like he was too prepared for his pick. It was kind of crazy, and the ball wasn't even there yet by the time Stingley was in position to get the pick. So he kind of overran it a little bit. So one, of course, and it's like you said, it's Daniel Jones, but still in the NFL, I don't care who it is. That is hard to do. So so he's locked down, and his second pick, that one down there near the end zone, it was incredible.
Why? How can a corner make plays like that?
I don't know.
You know what he looks like? You know what he looks like when he does shit like that? Like runs the route for the receiver or does like some insane – because he did this a few times last year with insane picks, insane ball skills. Looks like Richard Sherman.
Yeah,
he uses his length. He uses his length a lot.
Yeah.
He has great ball skills. Like he can go out there and get it. He's a ball hawk.
No, so, I mean, he's
going to have – I mean, Richard Sherman for a while was averaging like 8 interceptions a year, Yeah. That's what Derek Stingley had 5 in like 11 games or 12 games or something. So
Stingley,
no reason to think that he's not like that.
He's just got to stay healthy. I mean, at the end of the day, but if, as long as he can stay healthy, I think after the season he goes down as one of the best corners in the league. I think people are going to recognize because he already is. He's extremely underrated. People don't give him his credit because he did start slow. He was drafted 3rd. Sauce was taken after him. Sauce had a great rookie year. Stingley was a little up and down, and he's been a little injured here and there. But this is the year where Stingley really solidifies himself as a top 3 corner in the NFL. I mean, he's got the potential for that.
He's got potential to be the best. I mean, there was a reason why we took him 3, and it's because he had a ceiling of being an island, a lockdown corner. Like a franchise lockdown corner for the rest of his career, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. And so far, I mean, also he's probably thinking whatever higher power is out there that we hired DeMeco Ryans as our head coach. DeMeco Ryans knows how to get every ounce of talent out of a guy. Yeah. He took one look at Derek Stingley and went, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's gonna be a fun toy to play with." Yeah, no, I can't wait to do that. So
yeah.
So all credit to D'Amico and all those coaches, because they helped Derek Stingley kind of reach that potential, become in the conversation of top 3. I think 10 weeks from now, we're talking about him as like the best corner in the NFL.
Yeah, I do too.
I think he's all pro. He looks great.
Speaking of corners, this is interesting. Kamari Lassiter, I just want to acknowledge this about Kamari. In that game against the Giants, when he was playing, he was not targeted at all. He was like not even trying to throw on Kamari Lassiter. Not even going to try.
Yeah, no,
now the stats are going to look a little quiet, but that's all you can ask. If your corner is locking down dudes so hard that they're not even getting the ball on that side of the field, then that's all I can ask for from a corner.
I mean, yeah, the biggest thing about him coming out of college was, what? No interceptions? Huh? Look at these numbers. What? I'm like, it's because he has nothing there's no numbers for him to record.
They're not throwing over there.
They're not. He's phasing people out of the game, so he's phased out of the box score doing that. So, and people aren't talking about it. Well, we were talking about it, but Kamari Lassiter has he has the tools to be maybe the best corner in the draft this year.
Yeah.
And he's going to have immediate success. He's going to probably be quarterback 2 starting week 1.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was playing with the ones that much. I don't know if he was opposite.
He was out there.
He was playing with the ones?
Yeah. So, no, I think he is. I think he is going to be starting corner. I think he'll be
all the talk from camp, too, from all the other guys. They're like, man, Kamari Lassiter is Lock. He lives up to his Locksmith name. He's Lock out there, dude. Mm-hmm. So I'm really, really excited. I wrote about him and during the combine, and then we ended up drafting him with our first pick of the draft. I'm really excited to see Kamari kind of just. I don't need him to be Derek Stingley making the high flying interceptions and having all these numbers. I just need him to phase the other guy out of the game. Phase wide receiver 2 out of the game, or
wide receiver 2 doesn't exist, and then you have to throw over to Derek. You have to throw to your tight end and let Azeez Al-Shaair and the safeties handle them. Like that's all I'm asking from him, and that's what he's doing extremely well. And I think over time, because there's going to be a time where quarterbacks realize that we can't throw to Derek Stingley. And we can't throw over there. That side of the field is gone. So we're going to have to focus on Kamari's side. And then Kamari's not going to be able to, I don't know. They're not going to be able to do anything. We might have the best defense in the NFL. I'm not even kidding.
See, here's the thing. When it's fully healthy, the defense is fully healthy. Like, hopefully we get Christian Harris back eventually, even though Neville Hewitt was great. Hewitt was great. I know we don't like to follow PFF a whole lot because – he was kind of a cocksucker to the CJ Stroud. I don't know. But I still like the guy. I still like their analytics. They rated Neville Hewitt with like a 91 rating, PFF rating against the Giants. Yeah. And for reference, Stingley got a 94. He showed out all over the field.
That's incredible.
But Neville Hewitt could be a starter in the league. I don't know. He could be a starter.
That's what happened with Cashman. Right? Yeah. That's what happened with Cashman in D'Amico's defense. Blake Cashman was here for a long time as a special teams guy, didn't really get much play time, whatever. He was in depth. Then he's in D'Amico's defense and is like incredible all of a sudden. And now he got a little bag wherever he went. Did he go to Minnesota? I forgot where.
Yeah, he went to Vikings.
Yeah, they're like the Minnesota Texans up there a little bit, to be honest. They got the boys. But they got Gridiron and Cashman. They got 2 guys. But yes. So I don't know. The potential for Neville, the potential for the defense is extremely high. Let's jump over to the offensive side again. We're going to talk about something good and talk about something bad. Let's talk about bad. Let's start with bad. What is up with Dameon Pierce, man?
See, that's the question.
We've been talking about this a couple weeks in a row, but
Dameon Pierce. He doesn't look like he's getting the offense very well. Doesn't look like he's understanding. Obviously, last year wasn't the same guy he was in his rookie season, and there's a lot of chatter of him not understanding the playbook. Still, just doesn't look like that, or he just He lacks so much patience that he's just rendered not a running back. He shouldn't be a running back. He should maybe just be a special teams specialist.
Yeah,
which he's got too much.
New format.
He's got too much darn talent to be doing that.
Yeah, I know. It's
really all get out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge bummer, and it's but this there's 1 year wonders that happen in the NFL, and that's probably what Dameon Pierce is. And I think Dameon might thrive in a little something that's a little more free for all, like this new kick return thing. Maybe that can just be his sole role on the team, is just returning kicks. But when it comes to to RB2. We have guys like Cam Akers, like Dari, like British Brooks, like Jawan Jordan, like other guys on this team that could be better than him at that could be more viable for that RB2 position.
Yeah, but even as RB2, those options, I'm like, man, I need to see a little bit more. I need to see a little bit more. You kind of said it. You said it when we were playing during the game. You texted it. You said you wanted to see Cam Akers with the ones.
Yeah,
I would love to see Cam Akers with the ones, just to see if he can play up to that level, that speed with the actual core. I'm not sure if he could though.
Yeah,
I mean, right now, like I might be thinking about, if I'm Nick Caserio, I'm looking at maybe making a trade for an RB2 somewhere, you know, maybe getting a guy who's been in the league for a few years somewhere. There's got to be some guy somewhere. I'm kind of just making that up right now.
No, I know what you mean though. You're right.
Because
it's looking bleak.
Could you see like RB2 option? Could you see British Brooks being that right now? I don't know. He was dogging. He had a great game, but
yeah. I mean, I think British Brooks could be a solid RB3. We just have a lot of running backs that we just can't keep. But British Brooks had a good game. Five carries for 23 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, that's later in the game against some future plumbers. But at the end of the day, it's still NFL football. That's good. You like to see that, and that's way better than what we've seen from Pierce. And the thing is about Pierce is, yes, you're right about the RB2 conversation. You're right that maybe Caserio needs to make some calls because RB2 is looking a little bleak with the options right now. But with the running back room we're in right now, with Dameon Pierce, his 2021 season still lingering, those expectations still higher than some of these other guys. I think Cam Akers and all these guys are just having are playing so much better. Like plain and simple. Like Dameon Pierce has 8 carries for 9 yards this preseason. His longest run is 3 yards.
Yeah, no, I mean I think there was a pretty strong reason why we were throwing it more than running it. I mean, well, that's obviously, with a guy like CJ Stroud, you're going to throw it more than you're running.
Yeah, we have the passing game that we have. Of course, we're going to do that.
But they weren't giving Dameon any looks, and that's not still like, oh, we're not using them. No, they don't want to use them. I don't think they want to give them the ball. I think they're going to be like, give them the ball right here, and it's going to be 2nd and 9. It's going to be a 1-yard carry or something.
Yeah.
I don't think they believe in him very much right now. I'm pretty sold that the fan base is ready to move off of Dameon Pierce because it's funny because in 22, that's all we had. That's all we had. Yeah. It's funny. Dameon was like, well, at least we got Dameon Pierce, who's a star running back in the making, Yeah. And people are still. It's tough because people are still holding that. I'm still kind of holding on to that. But if a guy doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. It's in his 3rd season. He's not looking good. This guy's a 4th-round pick. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason. Jawar Johnson. We're pretty high on Jawar Johnson. Start giving him looks. We need to kick it in high. I mean, we're about 2.5 weeks out from the season, or week 1. So we need to kick in. If anything happens to Joe Mixon, we might be in trouble. So. You need to figure it out.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Our run game is, and we haven't seen Mixon yet. Mixon's been banged up. It hasn't taken a single live snap in the preseason. A little worrisome to me, to be honest. I think he's gonna be great. I think he's gonna be fine. I think Joe Mixon's one of the most consistent backs we've seen in the NFL in recent years. But him being banged up all training camp and then not getting any live action other than scrimmages at practice.
He's a vet. He
is. I know. And you're right. But I just, and he's not going to play next game. No, none of the starters are going to play next game. So we're going to get our first look at Mixon week 1, and we'll know a little bit. But also, we can't hold it against him if he has a slower week 1 because, like I said, he hadn't played. So it's like, I don't know what to make of that. But you're right. If I'm Nick, I'm getting on the phone. I'm maybe putting together a package that includes Dameon Pierce, because also there's still some value for Pierce, probably somewhere. There's teams that are needier than us. I mean, it's gonna be maybe a late round pick, but there's something, right? But I don't know. But I think we do need to do something about it. Or who knows? Maybe Cam Akers is back to form. Maybe Cam Akers has rehabbed his Achilles enough and he's good and he can be RB2 or Jawar Jordan or British Brooks or Dario. I don't know.
We're gonna have to figure it out. I mean, season's coming up soon, and obviously we're looking at depth at every aspect. Yeah. Depth looks good aside from running back, and maybe like secondary. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, secondary gets fucking torn. The 2s and the 3s get torn up.
Yeah, they do.
They get torn up. Well, that's another bad thing I wanted to bring up about the defense, or a bad thing about the game, the defense. Soon as ones leave the game, Daniel Jones, pretty much like this year, the new age Al Capone with how much he fucking steals and reaps, but he just was tearing us up. Him and Malik Neighbors were starting. Him and Slayton, they're tearing. Was it Slayton or receiver 80, whatever? The guy is like
Darius Slayton.
Darius Slayton. Yeah, Slayton. That's it. They were just he was ripping us up good. And that if something happens to Derek Stingley, like he's been injured before, it's something that we got to think about. He's been injured before. Yeah. Who's cornerback 3 to step in and play for Derek Stingley? Is he a Chris Boyd? Is he going to get torn up by Malik Neighbors again? I don't know. I mean,
it's a bad matchup. Let's give him some. Malik is a dog. That's like their one.
Sure, but the thing is, like, if Derek Stingley leaves the game for a quad injury or something, if whatever quarterback I am, and whatever receiver I have, I'm going after whatever corner just came in for Derek Stingley. Yeah, and they're getting torn up in preseason currently. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe like you're right. Maybe it's a little bit of overreaction. It's something so small it doesn't even matter. But depth is always important, and that's the reason why we got Stephon Diggs. Depth of receiver is the reason why we're doing anything. it's depth. So that's something they need to figure out, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see how that gets handled. I mean, we're still 18 days away from the first game, so there's a lot of time for moves to be made and positions to be upgraded or whatnot. So we'll see. I want to talk about this before we get out of here, though. Been a lot of talk about John Metchie the past few weeks, and talk about him not making this team. And we're last episode of Off the Gridiron, we were talking about what we need to see from Metchie, because we were kind of like, he's not making this team unless he really starts showing out. And I guess he heard the chatter because he had the best game any of us have ever seen from Metchie. He had 6 receptions for 68 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's especially compared to his other performances in the rest of his Texans career, that was nice to see.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, we were all happy to see Metchie. I might be completely wrong, but I think this might be his first touchdown ever
in the NFL.
I think it was preseason and everything. So that was huge. He heard the chatter. That was a big game for him in this camp because he was not doing anything else in the prior 2 games, and he was playing significant snaps. So they were giving him a lot of snaps. He wasn't doing anything with them. Finally, he gets in there a game at home with Case, and he starts cooking a little bit. He makes some big catches, makes a touchdown grab.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, that shakes it up a little bit for sure. Shakes it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because John Metchie before injury was considered as a first round talent.
Yeah.
Got injured, obviously. They moved him down to this. He got picked up in the second round by us. If he's a first rounder showing out, if we can get him up to speed to the first rounder he's supposed to be,
yeah,
that shakes it up. That shakes up the receiver room quite a bit.
It does. It's still, and we don't know if that's enough, right? To, 68 yards and a touchdown is on 6 receptions is good. Most of that comes against the 2s and 3s for the Giants. Pretty low tier players, we'll say. So we don't know if that's enough, but if, in this next game, he can show out and he keeps showing out in camp and building that relationship, maybe there's a spot. Maybe he gets that fringe spot over a guy like, I don't know, Ben Skoranek or which I doubt, but or over a guy like Noah Brown.
Now that I think about it, Ben Skoranek hasn't been making very many plays. He's made one.
Yeah, he didn't play at all this preseason game because he was injured. So
see, I mean,
tough time to get injured. Yeah,
that throws that definitely the Metchie game shakes it up a little bit.
It does.
We were talking about last week.
No, he's not making.
We'll still be monitoring it because a lot could happen with the rest of the camp and one more preseason game. But Metchie just opened up the window a little bit for him to make the roster. So
he's making Casario's job pretty hard and everyone's job pretty hard in that building. Because I mean those are first round of cuts are going to come fairly soon-ish here within the next week or so. So it's time to start making decisions, and they got a lot to figure out. They got a lot to figure out in that wide receiver room. They got a lot to figure out in the running back room. They got a lot of stuff. They gotta start tearing down this roster to 53, and it's going to be difficult.
Baby. It's a preseason, baby. It's work. It's all work.
It's grind.
Work never stops. This work never stops around here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Fucking A, dog.
Next week we got and we'll be back. We'll be back Thursday. Try to be back Thursday for a preview, a quick preview. We play the Los Angeles Rams noon Saturday. Don't think ones will be playing. If they do, 1 drive, 2 drives. I'm kind of just ready to keep them out of a game action.
Yeah.
I know what they can do. I know they're going to make the team. We're good. We're fine.
Yeah.
We need to figure out depth. So
yeah, we do.
We will be watching that. We will be paying attention.
We're going to be paying close attention to that for sure. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know you like what we're doing. Garrett, give a shout out to our lovely sponsor.
What'd you say?
I said, give a shout out to our lovely sponsor, please.
Oh yeah. So one thing about Texan games is I always watch them at Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. It's the best place to watch Texans games. Cold beer, great service, great appetizers, delicious chicken wings. I want chicken wings right now. I wish I can get some of those tenders on dollar tenders on Monday. That's one of my favorite deals ever. So if you're not doing anything Saturday, if you have nowhere to watch the game, go to your local Big City Wings and sit down and enjoy it. Tell them Apollo sent you. So thank you, Big City Wings, for powering this episode of Off the Gridiron.
Thank you so much. Just really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, that's it. Like I said, we're about, I think 18 days away, maybe 19 days away from that first legit game.
It's coming.
Fuck the Colts. It's on the way. We got one more preseason game to get through and just see what this 53 is going to look like. And we'll be here every step of the way. So make sure you keep dialing in to Off the Gridiron. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later.
Watch Texans. Go Texans.
Back in my bag and I gotta brag. I do this shit for